What is up, everyone?
What's up?
Sean and Gali here, back again. The dynamic duo, as people would say.
Sean and Gali show.
The Sean and Gali show, or the Gali and Sean show. The not the shit show, although that might have been last night.
Yeah.
Figured I'd hop on here and got Gali here. He's at the Fully Charged Live with me, and we're doing a lot of chatting, a lot of discussion panels, and a lot of speaking sessions. So how's it been for you so far?
Amazing. Yeah, I'm loving it. Really cool event put on by Fully Charged. Tons of
very
probably
impressed.
a ton of people. Yeah, really impressed. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Really interesting panels. And lots of electric vehicles here,
For
which
sure.
are really cool. Like we got to see I want to go check out the Taycan up close. Taycan, Toucan. Rivian is here with a huge booth and
Right.
a lot of like electric conversions. Pretty cool.
Yeah, electric conversions. There's some Teslas here, but that might be like a Tesla club locally or something like that. But I've seen some Teslas here.
Yeah.
Actually, I think Tesla is here. I think I saw a booth with the branding on it.
Oh, really?
I haven't gone to it, but maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, but the Rivian is great. How many times have you seen it now? I've seen it
I've
like a
seen it
handful of
like,
times.
yeah, we saw it in Detroit, and then the Rivian unveiling. Yeah,
Porsche's beautiful, right? I mean, we've had many discussions about that. Porsche Taycan is a beautiful looking car, but the range has been my biggest complaint, at least.
yeah, totally.
It's just not. I mean, the context is important, right? 201 miles for most people's daily needs is probably sufficient, but then you're like, okay, I'm spending $150,000, $200,000 for an electric car that gets only 201 miles. Why not just buy a P100D
Yeah,
Tesla?
yeah, it's
That-
not
that
much
gets
bang for
like-
your buck in terms of range. It's like the worst bang for your buck in terms of range. But
Yeah. What are your thoughts as we sort of get into 2020 here? Rivian's getting close to starting production of their vehicles, so
yeah,
we should be seeing some on the roads, I would guess, by the end of the year.
I'm so excited to see Rivian start production, but I'm also curious about what they're gonna do. Like, how fast it's gonna ramp. Like, are they gonna focus on this Amazon delivery order? And no one's actually allowed to drive at Rivian. Like, you can't really get inside them either. So we actually did get inside one in
Yes.
Detroit, but I think that's really interesting that they don't let people drive it. And
Yes.
I'm waiting for that because I'm like, if we're gonna start deliveries pretty soon, like it should be ready to do test drives, but it's not.
Right. So I guess they would consider these cars like pre-production prototypes.
Gotcha.
And then once they get the like pre-production actual vehicles that people can drive, I would assume that they're going to. In fact, I was talking with someone yesterday at Rivian about this, so I think that is coming. Probably later this year, the closer that they get to production. But they seem to be investing a lot of money, a lot of time into, getting that name and brand out there. They're here, of course. I've seen them at the LA Auto Show. They were there at the LA Auto Show, almost every major event. So they're definitely creating some awareness, but I would gather,
Yeah.
I really want to be one of the first ones, or at least one of the first groups to test drive, or at least test ride it. I would really like to I keep trying to push them to do like an outdoor something for media, where we can like actually get into the
Yeah, do
cars.
some tank turns, like some kind of, yeah.
I would love a tank turn.
Right? That was so cool. That was like, I don't know if people know, there was like the car does the 180.
Yes.
That was, yeah.
Yes. What other? I think we've talked about this before, and maybe other conversations, but I think I know where you're going. Actually, I'm curious to see if you're going to answer like I think you're going to answer, because I've asked this to you before. What car in 2020 pumps you up the most? Which one are you most excited about?
Financially, the Model Y and the Model 3 Shanghai, but actually probably the Rivian, because we just got so much hype and it's about to be here. Cybertruck's not until 2021.
Yeah.
But yeah, probably the Rivian. I'm really, really pumped to see that like hit the road. And I'm curious how the software is actually going to work. Like, is it going to be as awesome as your Tesla, where you just type in, I'm going here, bam, it navigates, amazing big screen, and it just like works. It feels like Apple made it. I'm really curious to see if Rivian is going to have the software prowess to pull that off, and that'll be a key thing that I'm looking for. Of like, can Rivian really go all the way, build a smart car?
What about the Hummer, the EV Hummer?
Oh, I think that's a joke. I mean, it's not coming for 2 years, and they're already advertising for it. It's just like an ad for the Cybertruck. I think every ad in the Super Bowl is just going to be like an ad for Tesla, because they're all. And it's like, you guys don't even have the technology, but they're not spending money on the technology. They're just spending money on all these ads. And I'm like, not only to place the ad, but to produce the ad,
sure.
like millions and millions
Sure.
of dollars. It's like, you could have bought Maxwell with all
Yeah.
the Super Bowl ad money they spent. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, it's a good point. Why not invest in infrastructure?
Yeah, and like, ever since I've heard Elon say, like, we only spend money on things that make the cars better, like, as a consumer, I was like, I love that mentality. Like,
And that the cars should drive them or sell themselves, right? He
Yeah.
said that before. Like,
Totally.
if you make a really great product, it's going to sell itself. People are going to talk about it. They're going to be enthusiastic. They're going to show up to events like this, where it's like, a bunch of mostly, I would imagine, a bunch of Tesla enthusiasts.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the Hummer. The problem is that it's on an old architecture. That's the thing. Like they're trying to convert a gasoline vehicle to an electric.
Huh.
They're trying to put lipstick on a pig. It's like the aerodynamics, the efficiency of it was never designed to be an efficient vehicle.
Huh.
They're now going to convert it to an electric, and I mean, how much range is it going to have? 150 miles?
Yeah, have they released a full picture of it, or just that
No,
like grill
they just
picture?
did the teaser,
Okay, because
yeah.
I hope they do redesign it a little bit. And I know that GM is working on their next generation skateboard, which they talked about in the Cruise Origin, which is like that big kind of like thing where you sit facing each other, and it's like for ride sharing. And that apparently has a next generation skateboard that's not like the bolts. So I'm really curious if that'll be in the Hummer and kind of learn more about that technology. I'm actually curious what you think of the Origin, because I'm confused. Have you seen the thing Cruise put out? They basically
no.
just displayed this car. Then like
It's got the built-in self-driving stuff?
yeah, it's
Okay.
no driver's seat. It's just like a van that drives people around. But it's like it's like in production ready, but like I don't know. They're hyping it up like it's here, but it's not here. So
I don't know. Yeah, I haven't really followed it closely, but that whole piece of autonomy is really fascinating to me. They've got a different approach, I think, to Tesla. And then the thing that I mentioned before is how do you get those real world miles when you only have however many vehicles they have? It probably pales in comparison to the close to 750,000 Teslas on the road that are sucking up data and analyzing. And I mean, it's interesting to see. Like I don't hate on anyone who's trying to solve that problem, because it's going to make people's lives better, safer
Oh,
on the
yeah.
road. I think it's all good. Like best man wins. I think.
Yeah,
Why not?
definitely.
Yeah. Q4 earnings call just happened. What are your thoughts on it? Recap it in 60 seconds. What do you think?
awesome. Tesla made money again. They're making even more money than I thought, and expanding like crazy. Yeah, they just keep proving that the business model works, and I think that's a really new sign. That's why the stock's up so much. Is like the business model actually works and it's profitable.
I saw an analysis.
Someone asked about the range on the Hummer versus the Cybertruck in a super chat, and I just want to say I think it's going to be a joke. Like the Hummer's going to have like 150 miles of range to start, or 200 probably, unless they do like the biggest battery pack ever and it costs like 80 grand. Then maybe it'll have like 200 or 300, but dollars spent per range, like I don't even think it will be close. It's just Tesla's battery technology.
I agree. And, in many ways, GM is still unproven as an electric vehicle maker. They do have the Bolt, which has pretty good range, but it's also a small car. So, how do you address that? I really want to see something that's a little bit more appealing to the broad market. I mean, you look at, you put up the Chevy Bolt with the Model 3. In my personal opinion, when I try and look at it objectively, the Model 3 is just a far more appealing vehicle for the broader market. Would you concur?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So
And I think the Bolt kind of looks ugly, but
I don't like it. I don't like it one bit.
Yeah.
But it keeps coming up in like efficiency charts and like range, and so it's not very practical, I think, for someone who's got a big family, doesn't have a big trunk. The seating in it, I've been in it and driven it, and it's an okay car for the price. But when you start doing an apples to comparison, then it's like, okay, why wouldn't I choose the Model 3?
Yeah.
It's a far better product.
and it's being outsold 10-1 by the Model 3, even though it's cheaper.
Yes.
So, that's consumers are voting.
Yeah. I'm happy to take some questions here. I haven't been following any of the stuff that's been coming in. What do you think about the the range per dollar for the Hyundai Kona? Do you know much about that
Probably
one?
no, I don't, but probably pretty good.
I think it's one of the most efficient vehicles. Like not when you look at Matt's chart, the core efficiency one, but I think when you just look at range for the vehicle,
And
it's
price, probably it's probably
for sure.
cheap.
Yeah, I think it's under, or at least it starts at under $40,000.
Yeah.
But then, like in charging infrastructure, something that I think about, charging speed, over-the-air software updates, some of those things that other electric vehicle owners are just far more accustomed to. So earnings call, relatively pleased. What does the outlook for 2020 look like in your opinion for Tesla?
Super pleased. Yeah, I think huge growth year. Everything comes down to Battery Investor Day. That's like the most, at least if you want to nerd out on Tesla's technology and figure out really what their plan is. Yeah, so pumped about that.
You recently got some one-on-one time with the Third Row podcast, sitting down with Elon. Were you surprised at any of the stuff that he said about Maxwell or batteries or anything like that?
He said the capacitors were useless. So I thought that was pretty interesting. Basically hyping up DBE is the reason they bought Maxwell. I asked him about electric planes, which I think was interesting, and he kind of downplayed the potential for that, but that's still something I'm really curious about. But I thought it was I always have wanted to know what he thinks about airplanes and how to disrupt them. So for him to talk about why they're not doing it, how difficult it would be, and just how he thinks about it was so cool, so interesting.
I think he's got his hands full enough with just the automobile or just the transportation industry in general on roads, so semi-trucks, sedans. They tease that picture of like what you're calling the Model 2. It's like compact Tesla. So it's going to be really interesting to see if and when they come out with something like that. Model Y, they just showed off some photos of that in the last earnings report, right? Do you think that sort of teases the unibody or the 70-to-1?
Oh yes. I forget. I think they've confirmed that is actually they're using it for the Model Y.
Cool.
And I know, so that's really exciting. And you gotta ask Sandy Monroe about that. He's gonna be pumped when he tears down the Model Y, apparently.
I think he's gonna be just like rabid about it. Like I think he's mentioned it several times now.
Yeah.
About how he wants to like buy it and tear it apart and figure it out.
Yeah, it's cool to see him become a Tesla fanboy too. And that's what's I think interesting about Tesla is the people who aren't fanboys usually just don't know about it, and everyone thinks that like everyone's obsessed with Tesla. Like, why are you so obsessed? You just think they're the future. And it's like you just think that the more homework you do, the more you come to that conclusion, is really what I've learned. So it's like just the deeper you let people go, the more they'll be like, wait, and it does that, and it's like, oh, I didn't even.
It's really hard for me, like you said, it's really hard when you really dive deep into it and you look at what else is on the market. For me, it's hard not to be convinced that Tesla is the market leader. They do have some technology that makes them the market leader. They've got more time in the seat in terms of developing the technology. Some of the stuff that I'll cover today in my presentation is pulled from Sandy Monroe's one-day battery or one-day electric vehicle conference. And when you look at the comparison between the Chevy Bolt and the Model 3, there's far more thought. It's far more developed. The circuit boards are far more dense. They're doing more with less cords, less circuit boards. Circuit boards they're using the space in a far better way. And when you dive down deep into a lot of that stuff, it's like, okay, I get it now.
Yeah.
You don't see that stuff on the exterior, right? But when you dive into that, it's like, okay, Tesla knows exactly what they're doing.
Yeah, this is like a crazy piece of technology.
I don't know if you remember this from the little booklet, but one of the points that I'll make here in this upcoming session is Sandy does a comparison between the magnets that are in the permanent magnet motors of the Model 3, and they compare it to the standard automotive magnet. And the magnets in the Teslas have a far better conductivity with the chemicals that are in the magnet. And so, you've got better conductivity, you've got better efficiency in a smaller electric motor. And they're doing things like this that just no one realizes, and people keep saying that it's going to be easy for automotive to come up with a competitor, but so far it hasn't happened.
Yeah, and it's like you need to where's the mad scientists of batteries and powertrains that are for all these other like companies. I don't know. And Elon said on the earnings call, that's actually maybe another good tidbit from the earnings call, that it's like alien technology, the
Yes.
plaid powertrain. So that's like something part of Tesla's efficiency and range that doesn't get enough love is like the powertrain piece, not just the battery. And they have a new one that's coming out, not only a new battery, but also a new powertrain. So, yeah.
Super exciting.
Oh yeah, and this service question that I've seen a couple of people ask that.
Yeah.
I think it's like Tesla's making money now. They have way more money in the bank. They went through this like rush to get Model 3s out to be profitable. I think they're like way more calculated in the way they do things, and they've learned a bunch. And I don't like, yeah, there's gonna be growing pains, but I think overall the service experience of a Tesla being serviced versus any other electric vehicle is always is superior and will continue to be.
It really needs to improve. I know that one of the places that they did a lot of layoffs was sales and service last year. They laid off a bunch of people in sales and service, and so that did create some challenges for owners. So I'm really hopeful that as the company gets a little bit more financially stable, that they can reinvest back into that, make it maybe even better than what it was before. They have.
Yeah.
They have over the last 12 months. They've added some things to the mobile app, right? You can schedule a service appointment. You can also do roadside assistance from the mobile app. Those are new things that Tesla has added in the last 12 months, based on the previous growing pains that we saw back in late 2018 when they were delivering a lot of Model 3s and that Model 3 ramp up. So I really do hope that they build, that they invest back into that infrastructure, because I think their repeat business will depend on it.
Yeah, and honestly, you know so much more about that than me, because I'm just like, I don't own a Tesla, so or a car. I have a very sustainable, efficient transport method of walking.
Yeah,
I walk everywhere I can.
That's the best green transportation ever,
So
right?
green, yeah.
Thank you. You didn't ask a question, Daniel, but thank you for the super chat, and thank you, Jamie, for the super chat and question too. So I think we got.
Someone asked about the new ARC model, and that just made me think of something about how the whole autopilot or like autonomy thing at this conference. Like, we always talk about electric vehicles, and then it's like we never have enough time to get to the autonomy piece. We're just talking about how much far Tesla has in the electric vehicle piece, but that's another big thing that I think is another big takeaway from here. It's like, where's the strategy? Like, is anyone even talking about that? Like, actually, I want to go to the Rivian booth right after this and go talk to them about their autonomy strategy. Because I am so curious, and I know they were using LiDAR. I think they just said that because everyone's using LiDAR at the time. And now they're like, I'm curious if they're still doing, but
one last question here that I want to address, and then we can go ahead and wrap up. Tesla has what no other has. I guess it's not a question, but we can chat about it. A robust ecosystem. So I guess probably talking about vertical integration and controlling the entire.
The service centers, the chargers.
It's back to a lot of the stuff that we've talked about recently. Owning the powertrain, owning the cells, the modules, the battery pack, owning the electric motor, owning the software piece. It's going to be, the automotive industry has a lot to sort of figure out. It's not just the powertrain, but it's also the software piece, the autonomous piece as well.
Yeah, and I've been having some like interesting off-the-record discussions about how far behind all the other automakers are, and like how they're trying to scramble to catch up. And I think that's really interesting. I think they're even more behind than we actually realize. And like, we were on this panel today, they were like, are they going to go bankrupt? And I was like, I think a lot of these legacy companies, they either like merge or
certainly on the cusp of a lot of disruption in the automotive industry. Some of them I'm pretty sure won't survive as the industry transitions to the electric powertrain. So there's so many reasons why it's better, and the reasons why maybe it's not, those are changing pretty quickly. And you talk about range parity with gasoline vehicles. It's not quite at range parity. You can go further on a tank of gas in a new gas vehicle than you can an electric. But that's not going to be the same. That's going to be the issue for very long. Like, even Tesla's talking about a 400-mile battery. Then you're getting really, really close to parity, if not at parity of range. Charging as well. That's another one that's being chipped away little by little. You've got
V3.
V3 is 15 minutes for an 80% charge. That's pretty darn close to filling up a tank of gas. I mean, I haven't filled up a tank of gas in quite a while, but that's got to be getting really, really close. Cool, man. Well, thanks for jumping on, and hopefully we got most of your questions answered here.
This was fun. 500 people. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you for tuning in.
Yeah, thank you. Talk to you guys later.